Wassail Beautiful People. So Þögn appeared, the silent one, and the video went silent, which was very appropriate. Frustrating, but appropriate. And another lesson in me learning patience. So I've woken this morning. That light now is the eclipse. It hasn't quite started, and even if we could see it, we're only going to see here a tiny little blip taken out. But I thought it was really important to sit in this eclipse sunshine, knowing that the moon and Mercury are closing in on the sun right now, and let's explore Þögn. So I've no idea what Þögn wants to say. I did put a little write-up yesterday. Þögn is one of the Valkyrie. Who are the Valkyrie? The Valkyrie, as far as we've always been informed, are warrior goddesses. And they decide the fates of the people. Now, interestingly, one of the things which the Valkyrie do is they were discovered by some people once, that's attested, so to speak, and they were weaving cloth with the entrails of the dead, and this was a form of fortune telling that they did. And this morning I've been channeling through to them, and they kind of want to say that that's the point of the connection, is that the Valkyrie are the daughters of the Norn, or the Nornir, which is the plural. And they were forced by Odin to do his bidding. And I've also been picking up information to do with Odin and Mimir, and how the original battle between the two heavens was created. As I shuffled the cards, then the air energy is picking up around me like spirits moving. So hopefully I will channel something beautiful for you about Þögn. So let's just go to Odin and the Nine Realms. I'm not giving any expectations. I'm just going to let cards fall and let Spirit give us the message Spirit would like to share with us. I'm very, very warm. I need a little bit of... I might have to move the computer back a little further because the sun's creeping up and I really don't want it to overheat today. I want Þögn's silent voice to come out. So, Þögn. I see Þögn as hermit energy, because Þögn understands all that there is to understand about herself. She needs no voice. And it's interesting, one of the comments that Mimir makes when he hardly speaks to Thor when Thor comes. And there is that sense, you see, I didn't make that connection in the channeling. I was saying how standing in the light of Þögn and her silence is so profound. You see a projection of what you need to see in her light, because she understands all her light and darknesses, and so we see a projection of our own inner fears, and she's trying to teach us to not worry about those fears and to project our joy and our light from us. And they kept putting the phrase in my head, which I couldn't form properly, which is giving yourself enough rope to hang yourself. That's what Mimir did, because they've been talking to me this morning about Mimir and saying that the Vanir were angry with him for giving Odin the runes and for giving him partial wisdom. As Freya's on the bottom staring at me, because in the end, after the great war between the two heavens, there was no winners and no losers, but in many ways the Aesir got clever and hostages were exchanged, and Mimir was handed over to the Vanir, and they chopped his head off, which they sent to Odin, as just to say, you know, you don't have the knowledge, but that's not how the stories come out. So that's really interesting. Anyway, let's go back to Þögn, because that's what we're here for. It's so weird. A friend of mine said, you'll sit down to do something about Þögn, and Odin will just kick the door down and try and get in. Go away, Odin. So, oh, there's a cloud coming. And it's joyous to just feel the softness. I'm excited. I don't want clouds later. I really need to appreciate basking in eclipse light, to charge my belly, to retune my physical frequency. Anyway, look, she's everything's getting in the way of Þögn. So, Þögn, what would you like to say, Þögn, to us? Well, she didn't want to say anything. She's got no mouth. How would you please communicate with us? It's like words are embryonic. They haven't formed. So, shh, stop it. Þögn, will you please guide us? This has just fallen off the table. And it looks like it's a raid. I can't reach it. It is raid. I'm immediately, they're just saying emotional journey. Emotional journey. So Þögn, please. Þögn. Oh, she doesn't want to sit still on the table. They're all going on the floor. So this is Dagas. This is eclipse energy. It's the tunnel. It's the Uranus Geminus. You go in through the lunar eclipse. You pass through the eye of the needle. And the eye of the needle in a storm is also referring to the golden threads that we pass through the needle by the norns to weave our future. And then this is coming out into the sunshine. So it's an emotional journey through the eclipse, is what she's saying. So, what else, please? Þögn. It's Vanahamir. This is the realm of friendly heaven. I kept calling it Lady Heaven yesterday. I need just briefly to. It's very early in the morning. It's not even 9 o'clock. And that solar eclipse energy, I'm hoping that this solar eclipse frequency is coming out. Maybe that's the laughter that's here today. They're kind of just saying the sun's just messing with you. Remember, the sun, Sol, is female in Norse mythology. So you're meant to be going on an emotional journey to move through the barriers, the boundaries of 12 frequency, and to move into 13 frequency. I feel like I want to just put some moonology on that. I've brought various decks because I'm really not sure what we're doing. I need to just do my eyes because I'm getting stinging sweat. So they're saying Hod. They're saying it's got something to do with visions, seeing visions. Hod was the blind god, and Hod was the one that was tricked into killing the light, killing Baldur. That's interesting. And they were brothers, and Loki tricks him because everything protects Baldur apart from, Frigg forgot to ask, mistletoe. And so Hod makes a little mistletoe dart, and while everyone's having fun throwing objects that are missing Baldur, his blind brother has given a dart, and when Loki says throw it, he throws it, and of course everybody stops laughing, and Baldur is dead. I feel like it's like random channeling that they're putting in my head. Part of my desire with things is to give coherence to stories, Oh, look, it's going really cold suddenly when the light goes, when Baldir is killed off. Legs have gone really freezing cold. That's so interesting. I haven't had cold legs for months. Um, oh. So we're in moon territory. That's why we're going back into we're reviewing the situation. I nearly sang again then. So, the moon. What do you want to add to this eclipse tunnel right now through Þögn? Þögn is that strange P that is actually a portal. So her name is a portal to the self. That's what they're saying. A personal issue reaches resolution. And it is a personal issue. The Hermit is dealing with personal light. Þögn is doing personal light. So the portal symbol is a TH when you see it. It looks like a P with an extra tall barrier. But so a personal issue is reaching resolution. What else do you want to say, Þögn? You have to look at the bigger picture, which is the full moon in Sagittarius, which was that was the beginning of the eclipse tunnel. The beginning of the eclipse was highlighting a personal issue that needs to reach a resolution as we come back out into the sun, which is now warming me back up again. It's lovely when the natural world does that Shakespearean thing of following the journey of the story and the emotions. Because I'm immediately now dripping with sweat down the back of my head. Well, that and the fact that I've just had a shower. So, Þögn. And commitments are tested. I can't explain how much I feel like my entire commitments to everything have been tested in this Uranus Geminis eclipse corridor. It's been really personal. It's really been like testing my faith in things that I feel are coming towards me. I'm gonna go with the Muse Tarot and get some messages on this and then put those cards away and just ask for a separate message to see what it is that Þögn wants to communicate to us. So please, can we have a bit more information? That eclipse energy, please. Þögn, into the cards for it, please. Right, there's two cards face down and one face up. The one facing up is the Seven of Emotions. And they're saying to me that this is the trouble. This is what we do. The light, this light that's being offered to us right now is about making decisions, and we almost can't see the wood for trees. And they're saying Iceland can't see the wood for trees because they chopped them all down and used them, as did Norway. It's that notion that you can just, I get it, okay. You can keep cutting back things, taking things out of your life. But if you don't replenish the things you take out, you end up with a barren landscape. You end up with nothing. And it's trying to choose which aspects of the self are actually worth watering with the emotions and growing. And each of these new aspects of ourselves we have to see as a sacred Yggdrasil tree. So, thank you. This eclipse tunnel is about personal power. It's how you view yourself, victim or hero. They're saying victim or hero. Are you a victim or are you a hero? And they're saying think of all the women characters who have the most amazing powers that are never even spoken about. And that's, she's saying, you see, she said, I don't even need to talk about my power because I know my own power, Þögn's saying. I know my own self, I know my own truth, I have my full understanding. But that mankind, humans, and she's saying, and the gods, they don't know themselves. They're as much on a journey of awareness as we are. And it's about aligning yourself to your truth. It's a very powerful... Oh, and actually it's 7-7. It's a very sacred path because you've got 16 making 7. There's a lot of heat coming down. Okay, so the 10 of inspiration. Fractals. So they're saying to me, Reem did a reading yesterday. Hello, Reem. And it was talking about going under a tree, sitting with a tree, but they're saying sitting with an Yggdrasil tree. And when she was talking about it, they were showing me a vision of a video I did a long time ago. If I can remember to link it in, I will. But it's about lying under trees. And when you look up, you will see patterns created by the branches and the leaves. And these are all kind of healing fractal frequencies. If you can just tune into them, you can then amplify energy. And that's what this is saying. It's not about unburdening. Each of the yaks has the bowl, but she still carries the bowl, but her bowl is the most full because she's carrying all those fractal shadows. She's taking them and using them as something to nourish the new life that she's creating. Okay, so that's very interesting. Let's now go to the same deck. Actually, I might go to the shamanic and just ask for a little energy commentary, and then we'll go back to the Odin. So, do you know, they're saying to me, spell your name in runes, which I haven't done, oddly. I've been learning to read and write with runes, but I haven't done my own name, and yet that's very odd because, like Þögn, it's about how you write names. Okay, so that's what they're saying to me to explain. You just have to bear with me. So I need to show you Þögn's name in runes and explain how the sounds, the frequencies that we have create our names and create magic around us. Sorry, I'm trying to talk while also trying to look for 3 more cards. There's one. I've got Fog. I need N. Nadur. There we go. So let's explain Þögn. So Þögn's name is a portal. Okay, so they're now saying to me this. I have to give a tarot section to each of the letters of her name. Let's just go through the name first. So this is TH, Thurs. Thurs was one of the giants. But it's a giant portal. And some people will say Thurs is Thursday. Some people will say it's Thursday. And then the O is Odhal. That's spiritual inheritance. So you can see within her card, Spirit has opened a portal. And then within the womb, within the sacral, there is a portal waiting to birth truth onto the earth. So that's THO. And this is called thorn because the portal can be an uncomfortable thing to walk through or to draw the energy towards you, because in order to draw energies towards us to move through something, we have to look at the shadows. It's almost like the shadows. Oh, that's interesting. They're saying to me that you take your shadows and you rune them. You rune bind your shadows into the key that opens the door to the light. Without the shadows, you don't have the code to open the door. That's so beautiful. Thank you for that, Þögn. You see, and this is what I'm saying. This information is coming from the power of the runes used to spell her name. So the next part of her name is Gypt, the G. And the Gypt is contained within space. It's like when you've been birthed, when you've birthed this new energy, you come out into a union between your divine masculine and divine feminine, so your physical body and your intuition up in the heavens. And so this, they're saying this is your shield, this is your protection. Not your silence is your shield, but your confidence is your shield, your true confidence, your desire to just exist in you and not to have any form of manipulation that you desire to push onto anyone else. A friend of mine was talking about someone they know who's always worked very hard in business, and yet she spends all of her time going around telling people what they should do rather than letting people be the people they are. And we were saying that in an odd way, that's not someone who's confident. So someone that goes around with a kind of distorted confidence is still trying to manipulate people. It's that dark Eve sense of confidence. True Black Moon Lilith confidence would be to know your own shadows and to know your own light fully, which is what Þögn does, and just allow people to be in their own frequencies. So we've got THOG, fog, and then we just need the N, and the N is Nadur, which is the shadows. Look, see the distortions of the X figure here and the perfection of them here. When you can integrate your shadows fully and truthfully, you reach, your shadows become the key. They become the key. This is distorted. This is the key that will protect you as you move forwards. So her name is Þögn. That's really lovely. Thank you, Þögn. You see, this is, I'm really feeling the energy of the eclipse. I just need to just take a bit more of that sweat off. So, apparently a shamanic oracle for each card. I need to lay the cards down. They're saying put the shamanic oracle at the end. That's interesting. So, we're going to use the Muse Tarot because it takes us out of the realms of Celtic mythology, and it doesn't drive us into the same direction. They're saying no. They want this deck. They're saying no. She's saying no. She's saying do what you're told. I'm listening, Þögn. So this is the Toth mixed with the Lenormand. She's saying I'm not greedy. She's just saying that I need more than this. She's saying this is too structured. It shouldn't be, because it's 613s. It's got, 78 cards is 613s. What have I got here? I've got 70, 100, 108, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've got 114 cards here. Why is that relevant? 6, it's a flow, it's a balance. There's something else about 114. So, I'm not taking that one because I was too busy talking, but it's the Empress. And she's just saying that's me. Þögn, come on. Let's do this. This is the early morning solar eclipse. Þögn in the mix. You see, now that's also interesting. My mate over there, the gull, he's actually saying Patrick in gull. Usually, in any other eclipse I've ever seen, birds, they don't make a noise. It's all very quiet. He's been chatting his head off all day. And actually at one point it felt like there was a bit of a fight going on. He's running across the rooftop. So, Thurs. The Thurs part of Þögn's name, the thorn. What's the thorn? What's the thorn? Look, that's why, look, all 3 cards that have come out are actually Lenormand cards. 10, 18 and 23. So it begins with 10. This is Scythe. This is a card of, I mean, you know, to a certain extent we have Death's scythe here, the sickle. We also have a representation of Taurus pulling the ox. We're in, you see it's got Chiron on here. This is about wounds. I've never seen the Chiron. The wounds are the key, they're saying. Without the wounds, you haven't got the code, the key to unlock the portal. And it's about choosing what you take with you and what you leave behind in a kind of landscape of destruction. So they're telling me, again, the story of how the Valkyrie have been, and they're saying, have been captured and abused by a 12 structure of Odin, and they're forced to do his bidding, or that's the way we're told. But actually, Þögn is saying, we never did Odin's bidding. We always made Odin feel we were doing his bidding, but we've always done the bidding of the Norn, who are the true fates, the true people deciding whether we've worked with our shadows, they're saying, whether we've found that way. So they're talking about prophecy with the dog card, the loyalty of the Norns and the Valkyrie to work with us if we can trust their frequency, their journey. Because one of the things that we do, she's saying, is with mice, is we allow tiny little problems to gnaw away and give us anxiety and to give us a sense of fear that spirit is not there with us. And yet every time we succeed at something, the Norns are offering you more shadows to rise so that your key goes into yet another lock, another pathway opener. So she's saying to me, now you can throw a shamanic oracle. I'm loving spelling her name. I might have to do that with all of them. Build up a nice record of what their names represent as energies, but also to do mine. This is my bind rune, by the way, that we did in the Dark Eve Black Moon Lilith reading that I created. And I thought I was just putting together 4 runes that involved my initials and some things I liked. And there's 17 runes hidden within it. So look at me with my gift for a little bit of bind. A little bit of bind rune magic. So, oh, the dog's barking and they're saying it's Grimir. Grimir is here. And Grimir's the dog, the blooded dog that guards Helheim, Helheimir, Hell's realm of the underworld. They're saying that it's shadows again. And the laughter of the idea that Grimir is here, because you should welcome the shadows. The dark sorcerer, do not fear the dark sorcerer. We've all got dark sorcerer energy within us. Look, there's the interesting thing. I knew that it was going to come up in some way. He's 48, and there's 2 1s here on this card representing kind of Gemini, but not quite. But it's giving 114. Sorry, I just probably didn't hold that up long enough. I know it's giving 1148. It's also giving 118. Yesterday, 818 was a really important frequency, and that's because each Solar Saros Series repeats itself every 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. I don't know why my brain stopped functioning on that notion. But anyway, that's the power of the 818. And it was just interesting that yesterday the sun and the moon were at 18 and 8 degrees, as if they were just trying to say, look at the pattern, look at the number, see the significance of it. Not still sure why 114 is so important, because it's a new beginning, and a healing. So maybe it's the 2 doors and the healing in the middle, but that would be surely 141. I mean, we have got a 10 and a completion and a new beginning there. So I'm not taking that one because I'm not paying attention. I've got so much Sweat dribbling down me. It was the devil. I am going to take it. They're saying stop hiding cards from people. This is the past. These contain your shadows, is what they're saying. You can't birth a divine sacral. You can't birth your luminous warrior if you allow the anxieties of your past to dominate you. You have to deal with them. And it's about physical incarnation. You don't have any shadows in your soul. The shadows are how your soul has had to distort itself in order to wire you into a physical body. So we've got two sets of cards. It's like we have this card here, the Crossroads, which is card 22. And then we have 4 of Cups to flow with the healing, the emotional healing. And that's Moon in Cancer. We had Moon in Cancer in the original story, the original Moonology cards, I believe. Full Moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. We're in Odal. Odal is resolving personal issues to birth your truth, your Þögn light, as we're now going to start calling it for the moment, a kind of healed sacral. But the sacral needs to contain solar energy. So today, maybe as you give your Galdr incantation to the sun and the moon and Mercury, ask that the sun goes down into your sacral and burnishes away the shadows, that you polish up your dark sorcerer that exists within there. And they're saying to me, you have to be careful of your dark thoughts. You must not project your dark thoughts. You can have them, but you keep them contained in you. And they're saying you have to laugh at your ability to think dark thoughts, but you mustn't enable them to come out, because they're very powerful. Particularly, I was going to say an eclipse energy, but they're saying no, between these eclipses there's very powerful magical manifestation energy, so be wary. And then we have Baby in a Cup. I love Baby in a Cup. This is Stork. This is about returning to the nest. This is about birthing something new, which is exactly what a spiritual inheritance is. It's Adal. It's that spiritual inheritance to birth some new... Oh, look, there's a little tiny annular eclipse with a ring of fire on it there. And that's what's emerging right now. I can't see the time, but it's getting closer. What does it say on my phone? Yeah, it's starting. It's starting. The moon is now pushing in. Fabulous. So, what do we have here? We have Saturn in Libra. Saturn in Libra. All of the energy of the eclipse is flowing down to Saturn so that Saturn can rebalance it, just as we have to rebalance our own frequencies. And then we have the Prince of Swords to battle our own demons, to birth something new, to change the heartache, to bring a refreshed energy. But it's like saying that all of these cards are the shadows in our womb, and we have to reorganize them and then send down this solar plexus energy to bring union so that we can birth union of ourselves. So they're saying that the shadows have got to be read before the gift. That's interesting. Oh, we didn't put a shamanic on at the end. So, Adal, what's the end energy, please, for Adal? I just want to know what that card is that spun. It's thunder. I'm going to put that down because we're leaving Blue Lunar Storm year and we're going to Yellow Electric Seed year. And there's something very important about that energy. And actually, they're saying, look, there's something very important. It's solar discs. They are yellow electric seeds, thermal heat, but this is the seed. You've got to pierce into the seed somehow to allow the life to come out and to put your roots down into the shadows, and that's why they want us on the shadows next. So, can you please explain the shadows? So, what do we have here? Oh, that's so interesting. It starts with the card, the Seven of Cups. And we had the Seven of Cups earlier. Here, the Seven of Emotions. This is making choices in the light. This one is observing how to melt the shadows of toxicity within us. Because they're anxieties, they're thoughts that we're so used to thinking, we don't move past them properly. So that's a 777 that we've got now. And they're also drawing me to the fact that we have yet another 7 here. They're talking about divine spiritual pathways. So, I just snuck a look at the one card that was the other side of, that's fallen on the other side of these two. I'll get to it in a minute. So naughty of me, I was cheating. So, Þögn is saying you have to melt your shadows. You have to appreciate, and this is Venus in Scorpio. You have to appreciate that your anxieties injure nobody but you. You may later project your anxieties onto other people, and yeah, that's not a good thing to be doing either. But your anxieties harm and damage you. The more you keep yourself in a sort of woe is me, victim mentality, or I must have lived bad lives and I'm cursed down here. No one lived a bad life. Yeah, you may have, but you don't come down here with that energy. You come down here pure, but your pureness gets distorted into the physical body of living on earth. Your heart gets separated into lower and higher heart, and we face demons, we face shadows. And they're saying to me, what's really interesting is many religions tell you to turn your back on the devil energy, which is here. But if you turn your back on the devil energy, you're not in control of your own life. You're the victim to 12 frequency structures. You're the victim of Odin's notion that he is the all-father and the all-correct. Whereas the truth is within each of us. It's within our own sacral. Þögn wants us to understand that we are our own truths. So you have Snake. Snake is card 7. 7. We've got 7. They're saying to me I have to look up, and I will do, the solar eclipses in the year 1977 for some reason, but that's for another moment. So this has got the sun and the moon. Again, it's talking about eclipse energy, is birthing a new cosmic egg moment for the whole world. And it's kind of saying that we've been living in Earth epoch. She said for a long time there's been these earth energy distortions that haven't allowed air and spirit and emotions to flow properly. So when we look at this energy of heartache and this energy of flowing into something new, it is genuinely something new, because no one has memory of the emotions and the capabilities of emotions when they flow in air epoch. It's completely different energy. So this cosmic egg is being birthed. What's inside the cosmic egg? I mean, I just have to say, before I show you, the snake is the male physical kundalini. It's almost been holding on to the divine feminine consciousness kundalini of pure love. It's not been allowed to emerge. And then we have 2 6s. We have the 6 of Cups and the 6 of Pentacles, which is the Sun in Scorpio. So we've had Venus in Scorpio. Now the Sun is in Scorpio. We've got to burn off, to use aether energy to, again, that an idea of burnishing things and then polishing back and seeing the shine that exists underneath. But you have to You have to become covered in the soot and the darkness of our own shadows by allowing those energies, by basking in those energies, so that you can clean your sacral. And so this is about reconnecting to a flow. 6-6, it's, you know, it's emotions in the real world. It's like when the two kundalini snakes of Isis and Osiris come together, the sun and the moon at the moment, Sol and Mani, they're bringing this wonderful emotional fluidity and flow. And this card, which is the moon in Taurus, Mani, and we had the bull earlier, you have to work out how to carry your emotions, good and bad, but leave the growth of them. That's the point. Cut them from the field and leave the growth of them. We have the 6 classical planets all in alignment, talking about the music of the spheres coming into alignment and filling our cups with memories from the past. But it ends with the 10 of cups. This is, your shadows are your greatest emotional fulfillment, is what Þögn is saying, which is amazing. I'm absolutely wet down, wet down the front. I've got all my emotions and my cups of water just pouring from that solar eclipse frequency. So let's have a shamanic on that. You've got to bring them into the real world. You've got to bring yourself into the real world. You've got to not live a distorted life. Thank you. And it's 3-6. They want us to be very observant of 3 and 6 frequency. It's bouncing in and out, and it feels like the Tesla trap, and yet you can spin it, you can turn it, you can turn everything on its head if you just use your shadows and mold them into a key to unlock all of this flow of emotions from within your cosmic egg. It's all there for us. It's absolutely beautiful. So we need to just end with Gipt, union between us and the world and everything, because we're in our Þögn truth. We're shining with hermit truth. So we have coffin. We have a healing. Oh look, that's so interesting. 8484, but actually what they're saying to me is you need to notice that we've got 88 and 44. But I'm going to read them in the order they came. Coffin. Put a lid on it. You have to bury these things as golden treasured magical memories. This mountain of woe, this mountain of trauma has to be with you. It has to be something you honour. There's a scarab beetle on here, and we've got 888 in fact, because the 8's on here twice on this one. And we have the 2 cobras from within the egg. When you reach the union, they're saying these are the 2 kundalini energies and the point at which they cross. There's creatures crawling up my legs. And it's not a kundalini snake. So you have to honour your ancestors' traumas. Thank you. And this is, oh, it's going all over my foot now. It's some kind of ant. There's several of them. So you have to focus on the healing in the centre of the heart and the sacral. It's saying to me, look, it's about crossing energies, bringing things together, not separating. We live in 12 structure where we push divides between people, a 50-50 division, you know, on anything. Whatever the subject is, people no longer seem to meet in the middle ground. True strength, true understanding is to meet everyone in the middle ground and accept their polarities. That's what she's saying about that notion of not judging another and not judging yourself, because you're silent, you stand in your own truth. And it doesn't mean you don't stand up for issues. It just means that you live with such a sense of confidence, true, you know, light and darkness confidence that you've dealt with in your own self, that you You teach people by your very form to be something completely different. It's interesting, I'm squinting because I can see that we were just on 44, which is what we're dealing with. A double healing, healing our physicality and healing our spirituality. So we have to make adjustments. So they're saying to me that's going back to the Saturn in Libra, which I've now lost. Where was Saturn in Libra? I had it just now. Where's Saturn in Libra gone? There. You have to make adjustments to the pains, to the shadows. You have to bring a balance to them. Justice is really interesting because justice links in with Tyr, and Tyr links in with trusting another and sticking to a word, having an oath and offering confidence. And not fearing the consequences. That idea of the Mimir's eye, Odin's eye, the Hod and the blindness, it's about being so confident that you can only know that everything you do is your truth. And you have to adjust yourself so that you reach this Emperor frequency. This Emperor is the most morphing, cheeky little card at the moment. He has two rams. He has a dark and a light ram behind him, and he's saying that he's only an emperor. Þögn is saying he is only an emperor. Odin is not an emperor, but this guy is an emperor because he fully understands his shadows. He's not manipulating. Because I always talk about this card as being a gardener, a pruner of emotions, and yet this is Mars in Pisces and this is Mars in Aries. So they're trying to talk about the goodness of the fires, the goodness of the anger when it's in balance with the light. And the Emperor is only waiting to have a spiritual epiphany, and that's what comes next. Oh, with the 4 again. So we've got another 4. The 4 of Pentacles, to be in your power. How long will you wait in the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, in the gateway to Ishtar, in this sense? Or how long will you stay walled in to 12 frequency? Thank you. Oh, that's what it is. It is the power of 12 frequency. If you can't move to a spiritual epiphany, Hierophant, and I call the Hierophant Hierophantrix, because for me it's about and he's holding the key. When you can combine all of these things, your shadows, your light, stand in your true power without any walls built around you as protection, you have the key to Þögn's portal. That's beautiful. I'm just going to pull a final card before I melt in this eclipse sunshine. But I'm so excited to deliver this message. I feel like that had the most beautiful flow because seriously, I'm sitting in this energy and it's raining down to deliver Þögn frequency. So look, it's Ran and the Billarost. It's like you have to shake out your emotions and understand the bigger picture, because that was in one of the cards. Look at the bigger picture. That's what Huggin and Munnin do, Huggin and Thuggin. They're flying up to Ran to understand how it's almost like they're saying spring clean heaven. Spring clean heaven, but you can't clean heaven until you clean up the space. It's like, so they're saying, it's really weird how they're saying it. They're saying like there's all these junk emotions that are trapped and they need to be shaken out. And once they're cleaned away down here in Midgard, in Earth, there's space for the new. but you have to clean up your shadows to get there. So that's lovely. I'm going to stop. There's so many ants now crawling up my feet. I've obviously moved this table into a space above an ant's nest, and that's very exciting. What's on the bottom of the Shamanic Oracle deck? Flow. Þögn says flow with Ran. You can't do it though if you don't allow yourself to have Þögn frequency. Okay, so that's the reading. Enjoy your eclipse. Enjoy the fact that Þögn clearly wanted to give this beautiful message this morning. So, wassail everyone.